Well, guys, it is now time for my Week 2 picks of the 2023 NFL season, as last week I went 11-5. Not bad, so I got the 12-4 though. And of course, here is the regular season stands and the playoff stands at the season end of the day. In the AFC, it's the Browns with the bye, with Broncos at Jaguars, Dolphins at Jets, and Ravens at Raiders. And the NFC, it's the Cowboys with the bye, with 49ers at Packers, Buccaneers at Rams, and Commanders at Falcons. So, now let's get to my Week 2 picks, as it starts off tonight on Thursday night, which shouldn't have been a Thursday night game in the first place, as it's the Vikings at the Eagles for the second year in a row. As the Eagles won the last one, the Vikings haven't beaten them since 2019, and they haven't won in Philadelphia since 2018. As the Vikings try to avoid 0-2 for the first time since 2021, and the Eagles try to go 2-0 for the second year in a row. The Vikings lost to the Buccaneers in a close defensive struggle. That was not a good sign to start the year when you couldn't even beat the Buccaneers. As Cousins looked very mid, which is surprising because it was a 1 p.m. game, so it should have been his prime time to do good. Eagles, meanwhile, you beat the Patriots, but you had a 16-0 lead, and they almost made the comeback on you. That was actually kind of an embarrassing victory for the Eagles. My view of them really went down with that victory. And of course, a rematch from last year where the Eagles beat them 24-7. It'll be interesting to see, especially how the Eagles almost choked away that win last week. But I'm still going to pick the Eagles for this one. And then we get the Sunday action with a big one in the NFC, as the Packers are at the Falcons for the first time since 2017. Packers won the last two. The Falcons haven't beaten them since 2017. And the Packers haven't won in Atlanta since 2011, as the Packers are trying to go 2-0 for the first time since 2020, and the Falcons are trying to go 2-0 for the first time since 2017. So the Packers completely humiliated and destroyed the Bears, as I was not surprised by whatsoever, as Jordan Love played very good in his first time, the first game of the era maybe. And the Falcons, they won pretty convincingly over the Panthers as well. This will be a very interesting game to see one of these two going to 2-0. But I think the Packers are going to get this one. And then it's the Raiders at the Bills for the first time since 2017. As the Bills won the last two, the Raiders haven't beaten them since 2014. And they haven't won in Buffalo since 2002. As the Raiders are trying to go 2-0 for the first time since 2021. The Bills are trying to avoid 0-2 for the first time since 2018. And the Raiders, in a very close defensive struggle, they beat the Broncos in a solid game for both teams. The Bills, meanwhile, oh my God, Josh Allen, you played like dog shit. Oh my God. The Bills completely melt down, even with Aaron Rodgers out. That was so embarrassing how they played. Ugly loss that they really shouldn't have lost when they had that lead for the moment, but they allowed the Jets to make that comeback. Absolutely embarrassing. Was that just the fact? Was it are the Bills not going to be good this year, or was it just they were playing the Jets' elite defense and that just really just made Allen look bad? This is actually a very important game now for the Bills, funny enough, after that embarrassing loss. And I'm still going to pick them to beat the Raiders. And then it's the Ravens at the Bengals, as a rematch from the wildcard game last year. As the Bengals won the last one, the Ravens haven't beaten them since last year, and they haven't won in Cincinnati since 2020. As the Ravens try to go 2-0 for the first time since 2020, and the Bengals are trying to avoid 0-2 for a second year in a row. So, of course, the Ravens, while they spanked and crushed the Texans, it was very close early in the first half. And Lamar did not play good whatsoever, so the Ravens really are setting themselves how I thought they were going to be this year, kind of like a disappointment. Bengals, meanwhile, I don't know why, but I'm actually not surprised the Browns beat them in the way they did. I don't know why people were so stunned by it. They can't beat the Browns in Cleveland. Is that hard to understand, people? As they were crushed, as they have one of the worst offenses in the league already. But of course, like I said, it's just the fact that they were playing the Browns in Cleveland, and the Bengals, as of right now, cannot at all beat them in Cleveland. So it should be relax, people. Now they're going up against a team they haven't lost to in 3 years, and they already beat them in the playoffs. So yeah, I think this will be a right game for them, and I'm picking the Bengals to get this. And then it's the Seahawks at the Lions for the second year in a row, as the Seahawks won the last 4. Lions haven't beaten them since 2012, as the Seahawks try to avoid a 0-2 for the first time since 2018, and the Lions try to avoid try to go 2-0 for the first time since 2017, a rematch of last year, that high-scoring game, 48-45. Seahawks got humiliated by the Rams. Oh my God, they looked so terrible. They looked like one of the worst teams in the league based upon their stats already. Good God, they were really bad. Meanwhile, the Lions had a surprising defensive struggle against the Chiefs, but in the end, they won it. So, in the end, that's very important for them. Although, their stats defensively could look a little bit better, especially since their defense played so good. It was more of their defense doing the job against the Chiefs and not their offense. So, very interesting to see what could happen in this game with the Seahawks. Because now they're in a desperate situation after that terrible start to the year. So, I'm actually going to pick the Lions for this one. And then it's the Colts at the Texans. As the Texans won the last one, the Colts haven't beaten them since 2021. And the Texans haven't beaten them at home since 2019. As the Colts try to avoid 0-2 for the first time since 2021, and the Texans trying to avoid 0-2 for the first time since 2020. As the Colts had a tough fought game against the Jaguars, and Richardson, other than that interception, looked really good. He was the best of all the rookie QBs so far. Tough game against the Jaguars, but they just couldn't do it. Texans, meanwhile, they put up a good fight against the Ravens in the first half, but then they completely imploded the second half. As Stroud was like a game manager, not really that impressive for the number 2 overall pick. So, not really good in that regard. And cannot wait to see how they play against each other for the first time. But I am going to pick the Colts for this one. And then a playoff rematch as the Chiefs are at the Jaguars for the first time since 2019. As the Chiefs won the last 6, the Jaguars haven't beaten them since 2009. As the Chiefs try to avoid 0-2 for the first time since 2014. And the Jaguars trying to go 2-0 for the first time since 2018. As the Chiefs lost to the Lions. Oh my God, that was really ugly. I didn't think losing Travis Kelce was going to make that big of a difference since Mahomes was there. But boy, did it make that big of a difference as Mahomes looked very mid out there. And Tony sucked as they lost to the Lions. The Jaguars, meanwhile, looking like they have one of the good offenses in the league after they had a hard-fought game against the Colts, but they managed to do it. This is a very interesting game because remember, the Jaguars had close games against the Chiefs both times last year. I would probably pick the Jaguars normally in this scenario, but I just cannot see the Chiefs right now going 0-2, so I'm going to pick the Chiefs in a possible upset. If they beat the Lions, I probably would have said the Jaguars maybe instead. And then it's the Bears at the Buccaneers for the first time since 2021. As the Buccaneers won the last one, the Bears haven't beaten them since 2018. And they haven't won in Tampa since 2015. As the Bears are trying to avoid 0-2 for the first time since 2017. The Buccaneers, meanwhile, are trying to go 2-0 for the third year in a row. As the Bears had an ugly second half against the Packers, and they got obliterated. Buccaneers, meanwhile, had actually an impressive game against the Vikings and managed to pull it off as Baker looked pretty good in this game. Can't wait to see how he does against the Bears. And, of course, the Bears are not a good team, so I'm actually going to pick the Buccaneers for this one. Surprising early success for the Buccaneers I'm surprised about. And then it's the Chargers at the Titans for the first time since 2019. I have no idea why they're 0-2. As the Chargers won the last one, the Titans haven't beaten them since 2019, and the Chargers haven't won in Nashville since 2009. As I don't know why the Chargers want to know as well. No idea how I screwed that up. As the Chargers try to avoid 0-2 for the first time since 2017. As the Titans try to avoid 0-2 for the first time since 2000 and... Oh my God, I don't know why I don't remember off the top of my head. It's not that long at least. 2012, I think it was. God, I don't know why it won't come to my head. Anyways, the Chargers lost to the Dolphins, as the Dolphins got their revenge as their defense looked like dog shit. But no wonder when you go up against Tua and Tyreek, you're going to have a hard time keeping up with them, as Herbert definitely should have put up a lot more touchdowns with the amount of points they put up. Kind of disappointed with that result. The Titans, meanwhile, oh my gosh, Tannehill was horrible. Absolutely disgusting bad. As that Titans offense completely imploded to blow their chances to beat the Saints. And now they got to go up against one of the better offenses in the league now at the moment. Yeah, I'm picking the Chargers for this one. And then we get to the 4 p.m. games, as it starts off with the Giants at the Cardinals for the first time since 2017. As the Cardinals won the last 4, the Giants haven't beaten them since 2011. As they're trying to avoid 0-2 for the first time since 2021. And the Cardinals are trying to avoid 0-2 for the first time since 2018. As the Giants, oh my god. I had a feeling that they were going to be like 2017 after they made the playoffs in 16 and they completely imploded in 17. I feel like the Giants are going to do it this year. And I'm not surprised that they lost to the Cowboys. I'm actually not even surprised they lost to them that badly. But jeez, man, they were just horrendous last Sunday night. Cardinals, meanwhile, they were supposed to be one of the worst teams in the league, yet they almost beat the Commanders. They actually looked competent in comparison. Oh boy. So, the Cardinals, supposed to be like one of the worst teams in the league going into this year, yet they looked a lot better than the Giants, who were a playoff team last year. I don't think I would have done this earlier before this week 1, but I think I'm going to pick the Cardinals for this one. I have more faith in them right now than I did the Giants after that horrendous loss. And then a big matchup in the NFC as the 49ers at the Rams, as the 49ers won the last 8. The Rams haven't beaten them since 2018, as the 49ers are trying to go 2-0 for the first time since 2021, and the Rams are also trying to go 2-0 for the first time since 2021. And the NFC West on the line in this game is the only ones with a win, as the 49ers crushed the Steelers. I don't know why. Why did people act like this is like a statement game or like stunning? Like, dude, it was obvious the 49ers were going to beat the Steelers. Like, why are you so surprised, people? Like, come on. And the Rams, meanwhile, they looked really good against the Seahawks. They looked like almost back to their Super Bowl team 2 years ago. But, of course, it's just one game, so it's too early to say. And, of course, they're going to go up against a team they have not beaten in the regular season in 4 years. So that's going to be tough. So I think it was more like they were just going up against the Seahawks, who just did not play good last Sunday. So I'm going to pick the 49ers still for this one. And then a big outer-conference matchup, as the Jets are at the Cowboys for the first time since 2015. As the Jets won the last 3, the Cowboys haven't beaten them since 2007. As the Jets are trying to go 2-0 for the first time since 2015. And the Cowboys are trying to go 2-0 for the first time since 2019. So the Jets, oh my god, all that hype, all that anticipation, and for what? Rodgers played horrible, and then he goes down for the rest of the season. Like, that whole drive, I felt like something really bad was going to happen, because it just felt wrong, and then it freaking happens. But despite that, their defense felt even more elite than last year, as they embarrassed the Bills to make the big comeback to get the win, as now they're going to have to rely on Zach Wilson for the rest of the year, as this is his last chance, so he better put up this game coming up, the rest of the season, because this is going to probably be his last chance to salvage his career with them. Meanwhile, the Cowboys absolutely obliterated the Giants, which is honestly good for them because it masks the fact that Dak did not play good at all in that game, even though he didn't really need to play whatsoever. So, this is kind of an interesting thing. The Jets are in a bad spot now without Aaron Rodgers, but their defense is so elite that they made Josh Allen look terrible, remember? And the Cowboys, despite the win, I don't feel that really much more confident than I did going into the game, especially how bad Dak played, because he's going to be the main reason that the Cowboys are going to have any sort of success. So, this is going to be quite a tough game to pick, honestly. And you know what? This might be stunning, but I'm actually going to pick the Jets for this one. I trust their defense more than I trust Dak to keep them in the game. I got a feeling he's going to play like Allen this one too, because man, that Jets defense played so good on Monday night. And then it's an outer conference matchup as the Commanders are at the Broncos for the first time since 2021. As the Broncos won the last one, the Commanders haven't beaten them since 2017, and they haven't won in Denver since 2001, as they're trying to go 2-0 for the first time since 2011, and the Broncos are trying to avoid 0-2 for the first time since 2020. So the Commanders, they beat the Cardinals, but it was an ugly game. It was embarrassing, honestly. My view, the Commanders went down despite the victories. They did not look good. Broncos, meanwhile, They put up 16 points, but Russell Wilson played good. Like, he looked a lot better than he did last year. Oh my God, it was like a night and day difference. But in the end, they just could not beat the Raiders. So that's kind of a disappointing start for them. But my view of the Broncos went up after the loss, too. Kind of weird how that happened between both teams. The winning team I think worse of, the losing team I think better of. So I think this time around, I'm going to pick the Broncos to finally get a win to start the year. And then we get to Sunday night, an AFC East matchup, as the Dolphins are at the Patriots. Patriots won the last one. The Dolphins haven't beaten them since 2022. And the Patriots, haven't won Gillette Stadium since 2021. As the Dolphins are trying to go 2-0 for the second year in a row. The Patriots trying to avoid 0-2 for the first time since 2001. So the Dolphins look like they have one of the best offenses in the league already as they beat the Chargers. And what a wild game as Tua and Tyreek exploded. And that's why, throughout the offseason, I think the Dolphins could be a surprise Super Bowl contender that people are sleeping on. Like, they really played good in that game. My hype of them has really gone up now after that performance. Patriots, meanwhile, at first it looked like, yeah, the Eagles are going to crush you. But then the Patriots came back and Jones played really good, put up 3 touchdowns. They honestly outplayed the Eagles, but they just couldn't get the win in the end. So despite the loss, my view of the Patriots went up immensely after that. So this is going to be a very interesting game. But right now, I'm actually going to pick the Dolphins still for this one. So then we get to the 2 Monday night games. If you're going to have 2 Monday night games, have one at 7 and the other one at 10. Don't do them simultaneously. Please, NFL, don't do that ever again. It's stupid. So anyways, we get to the first of the Monday night games, as it's the Saints at the Panthers. The Panthers won the last 2. The Saints haven't beaten them since 2021 and haven't won in Charlotte since 2020, as they're trying to go 2-0 for the first time since 2013, I believe it was. And Panthers are trying to avoid 0-2 for the second year in a row. So the Saints, they beat the Titans, but it was not a good game, honestly. They looked ugly other than the interceptions. Derek Carr did not really play as good as I would hope he would. And the Panthers, oh my God, they played horrible. And Bryce Young, oh geez, he was horrible. 1 touchdown, 2 picks. He did not play good whatsoever. And even though the Panthers swept them last year and the Saints are 1-3 in the last 2 games, I think I'm still going to pick the Saints despite their offensive struggles. And then it's the Browns at the Steelers. As the Steelers won the last one, the Browns haven't beaten them since 2022, and they haven't won in Pittsburgh since 2003, as they're trying to go 2-0 for the first time since 1993, and the Steelers are trying to avoid 0-2 for the first time since 2019. And the Browns, statistically, look like one of the best teams in the league right now. Like, their defense is elite, their offense is really good except passing, as they crushed the Bengals. I'm not surprised they crushed the Bengals. I'm literally not surprised at all, but the fact that people are stunned by it, I just don't understand. And the Steelers, meanwhile, they got crushed by the 49ers, as they look like one of the worst teams in the league. And likewise, I'm surprised people thought that was surprising. So yeah, interesting game here, but so I'm not surprised at all by how the Browns played against the Bengals. Like, it doesn't wow me. So I haven't really, my view of the teams has not changed whatsoever. And knowing the Browns' history with the Steelers, I'm actually still going to pick the Steelers for this one. So those are my picks for week 2. I cannot wait for Vikings and Eagles tonight. And hopefully, because, of course, since they did that stupid exclusive Twitch thing, I hope the link I did last year works, so I'll post the link into this chat, and hopefully tonight it'll work for all of you so we can watch the game tonight. So anyways, my picks for tonight, this week. The Eagles over the Vikings, Packers over the Falcons, Bills over the Raiders, the Bengals over the Ravens, Lions over the Seahawks, Colts over the Jets, Chiefs over the Jaguars, Buccaneers over the Bears, Chargers over the Titans, Cardinals over the Giants, 49ers over the Rams, Jets over the Cowboys, Broncos over the Commanders, the Dolphins over the Patriots, the Saints over the Panthers, and the Steelers over the Browns. So see you guys next week for week 3. I cannot wait.